it is what it is. That's not what I said, but you get it. Right off the jump, we see something happening with our cities, even before COVID, I would say, but we'll get into the COVID-19, the shutdown, and then the riots. You've had Minneapolis. New York City is just a mess right now as far as the police are not able to do their job. De Blasio's kind of blocking them. They're overwhelmed. You saw what happened in Los Angeles, Santa Monica, Hollywood, downtown LA. Beverly Hills got overrun temporarily. You have cities across the country that it's not that they can't handle themselves, and I pray that there are liberals and Democrats here, because I mean well, it's all love, but you're going to figure out, if you don't want to listen to me, I'm not the be-all end-all, but if you don't want to listen to this perspective and consider it all and be honest about it, you're going to find out the hard way, because that's just the way life works. So, on top of what's going on, what is the response to what's going on? I'm going to read a few things from today. It's becoming I can't tell if it's a joke or not. It's like what's parody, what's real. This is from Minneapolis. They're saying that a bunch of people in city leadership and in city council, they're calling to disband the police. Guys, I don't know if you know about me. I come from that mindset. I've loved hip hop culture my whole life. I still do. I love the good parts of it, not the bad parts of it, like anything. But I come from the F the police, you know what I'm saying? Chilling out with your friends, like F the free world, I'm a rebel. I come from that mindset, so I'm not speaking like a grown man. Get back and rake the leaves. However, even at that time, I never would have said disband the police completely, like don't even have a police force. I mean, that's a little crazy. I mean, then you're talking about anarchy, gangs, cartels, whoever's the strongest force on the ground is going to take over. That's just what happens in a war-torn society. So even at my craziest, most degenerate youth stage of being a total moron, who didn't understand how the world worked, I never even would have went this far to say, let's not defund the police, let's disband the police. Let's get rid of the police completely. You think it's a joke? They're really talking about it and doing something else. If you're in Minneapolis, listen, I'm not a fearmonger. I'm not an alarmist. God bless you. God bless your family. It's all love. Don't be afraid. Fear is the energy of the devil. Fear is the energy of what Jesse Lee Peterson calls the children of the lie, the fake news media. That's what don't be fearful. But if you live in Minneapolis, I would start to look around and be like, do I want to live somewhere that they're considering removing the police force completely? Just giving you a heads up like I did on COVID-19. Second story, LAPD. Chief, the Garcetti or whatever his name is, he's talking about $150 million budget cut from the police and fund to communities of color, like they say. I'm just saying communities of color. The reason I'm doing it in quotes is because I think it's just kind of people of color. It's a weird thing to say. I don't know. I think it comes off to me kind of racist. Like people of color, when people say I'm like black, Hispanic, what are you talking? I don't know. What are you talking about? You got to be African American, Mexican, Latino area, like people of color. I don't know, like people of color. Am I transparent? I look kind of like it. Am I translucent? Can you see through me? You can't see through me? That means I have a color. Everyone has a people of color? It's the dumbest term, so I don't even use it. That's why I'm using the quotes. However, you just saw LAPD in Santa Monica, in downtown LA, get overrun. They weren't prepared or they don't have good leadership. And their response to that is, let's defund the police. Guys, I'm not out here making excuses for the police. There's corrupt police. There's bad police. There's good police. I'm not a big fan. I don't want to see the police all the time. Like if it knocks at my door, I don't want to deal with them any more than I have to. I don't want to get pulled over like the next man. But do I want to completely remove them from my neighborhood and from my city and defund them? Of course not, but we're going to get into that later. To each their own. And NYPD, I've heard a lot of police officers are leaving. In general, who's going to really want to work there? You got to be tough and strong, but they're letting them get overrun. They're not giving them all access to resources like National Guard, and they're out in the streets just getting completely dominated at night, and it's still happening in New York City. So the question we have here today, with that being said, where does this lead? Where does the Democratic Party progressive mindset ideology leave? And I've talked about that part before. We're going to get into it and why it matters now. But I'm going to talk about liberal cities, living in one for the last 7-8 years. And in general, Are they going to rebuild? Is it all just smoke and mirrors, or does it look like time to leave? Is it going to collapse on itself? So the issue here, and I have a lot of friends that are liberal and progressive and on the fence, there's something that for some reason I don't understand where the disconnect is, and it's all love, but they don't understand how the world really works, and they don't understand that weakness gets taken advantage of. So regardless of what you think about each neighborhood, not having a police, defunding a police, or letting the police show weakness is just complete open invitation for anybody in the city, any person that wants to take advantage of chaos, which is happening in every major city. That's the whole crux of the police. If there is no law and order, you have anarchy, you have chaos, you have warfare, and I would say that that's not going to happen in these cities, but they want it to happen. They want to weaken the police and strengthen other people, or at least just leave it alone. And what they don't understand is all listen to their Black Lives Matter speeches about police brutality and white on black crime and all that stuff. But I'm talking to them, I'm like, guys, you realize, just to be quite honest, if you remove the police, if you remove conservatives, white people, Republicans, whoever you're mad at, give it all to me, remove them out of Los Angeles, remove them out of Minneapolis, remove them out of Seattle, remove them out of Houston. Do you really think, like, outside of, like, I know your friends are going to call you racist if you have an opinion of your own, and I know your work might fire you, but, like, between me and you know, friends, people here, you know, outside of what people will know you said, do you really think that would be utopia? Getting rid of the police, getting rid of conservatives, getting rid of Republicans, white people, and just funneling money to, you know, what they call communities of color, which is probably black and Hispanic neighborhoods. They just don't want to say the name for some reason anymore. They change it every 5 years. You think that's utopia? I mean, look at crime statistics, look at reality. There's good people, there's bad people, people make mistakes. But this idea that all of the ills in the world are coming from 4 groups and every other group is going to flourish, it's going to collapse on itself, guys. And I mean, it's not even just the situation with the riots and the police. I'm talking about COVID-19. Florida opened up, Georgia opened up, too slow for me. Where's the leadership? Where's the Republicans calling for an open up? I'm going to do a whole video tomorrow or the next day. 0 new deaths in New York City despite mass protests. It's time to fully open up, guys. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. Enough of this stand on this sticker, wait outside. It's getting ridiculous, and the Republicans are completely absent from real leadership like always. But in general, Democratic cities don't want to open up. They're causing a war zone. They're creating, I mean, there's coffee shops burnt to the ground. There's stores, optometry stores. I mean, small businesses of people who help the community just completely crushed. And their response to that is defund the police. Their response to that is it's your fault. It must be someone else. Let's just, you know, weaken our community, weaken. So people are going to leave. The police is going to get weakened. It's going to turn into a war zone. As somebody who lived in a liberal city, I'm already out, and I already was getting out beforehand, and I'm never going back. I mean, until you know, I hear otherwise, I'm not going back to New York. I've been there 20 times. I'm not going back to LA. You know, if I don't have to, if I have to get something or meet up with a friend, it's one thing, but I don't want to be anywhere near these people, anywhere near these cities, anywhere near them at all. I just want to stand somewhere else where there's, to be quite honest, they don't even have to be conservatives, but strong people who actually don't want their city to get overrun, and just watch them destroy themselves and blame each other. And just, it's insane what they're doing. They're shutting businesses down till 2021. They still don't want to open. They're leaving everybody at home. They won't open gyms. They barely opened restaurants. People burning stuff. Let's disband the police. Let's defund the police. Guys, these people will just never get it. You talk to them and they have these little talking points. Like, yeah, but what about the inequality? I'm like, I get all that. I get history. I get the future. I get the past. But they literally think crime statistics aren't real. I said, listen, I make no excuses for bad police. But you realize in the black community, police murder is like 0.001%. It's such a small percentage. They ignore 99.99% of crime, murder, violence, and stuff that they're not stopping, and then make excuses, bail people out of jail. Make it so you could steal $1,000 worth of stuff and you get out of jail. They pass laws, let pedophiles out of jail. It's like Gotham City, guys. It's like the devil has taken a hold of this leadership, and for some reason these people stray too far from the truth or from God that they're like confused or afraid to tell the truth. I don't know what it is, but it's like at this point, I don't want to be near them. I'm gone. I'm out. I'm not going back unless I have to. And when I'm out, I'm never going back. There's no way this is going to work. There's not even a 5% chance their strategy of defunding, disbanding the police, making excuses for the people who commit the most crimes statistically, and then driving everybody out of the state who's like a Second Amendment owner or a business owner. And this doesn't even have to do with the riots and the COVID-19. Before that, they were already losing more people than anybody to Texas, to Florida. Businesses are fleeing out the country. Even the liberals, the two best liberals in the entire state of California, Elon Musk and Joe Rogan, the two most common sense liberals, they want to leave, guys. Nobody wants to stay here. Anybody with any common sense is either getting to a conservative area of the state or getting out of the state as soon as possible if they can, or playing it by ear. But there's this almost 0% chance that all of this liberal hive mind ideology is going to work. Shut down businesses, drive people out, raise taxes, raise gas prices, make people, wear masks and not be able to go to the gym till 2021, defund the police, funnel money towards homelessness and communities of color with no strategy, not building the right things, not putting it to the right spaces and being tough and honest to be like, listen, this is how it happens. They don't understand mindset. They're done for, guys. It's no way this is going to work. Either people vote in another leader or you have to get out of there. And I'm not trying to be a fearmonger and alarmist, but if you can, like I can, I would suggest there's no way I would want to be anywhere near a city with Democrat leadership. How could it possibly work what they're doing? And I've seen it over the past 7 years already decline. More homelessness, more trash, more stealing, because they made it legal, guys. If you make this stuff essentially a misdemeanor or they don't deal with it, it's going to grow and grow and grow. And then they cry and call people racist in conservative areas of the state or the country. When these people come, they say, go back to your place, go trash your neighborhood. Don't come and, oh no, they don't want us here. No, they don't. Has nothing to do with your race or ethnicity or political party. It's the fact that you just burned down Santa Monica, Rodeo Drive, Beverly Hills, New York City, 5 different cities. Who wants you to be there? Yeah, go away. And then they go away and then they cry and then they mess up their own city and then they block traffic and then they shut down hospitals and nurses and doctors can't get to work and Hispanic families can't use their neighborhood because they're destroying it, and they tell you how much they love Hispanics and black people and they're destroying black and Hispanic neighborhoods, and they never go to the worst Hispanic and black neighborhoods because they're probably afraid to step foot in those neighborhoods and nobody would like them there or treat them, oh, you have a Black Lives Matter shirt? Yeah, I'm sure people care. Guys, it's such a joke. It's so pathetic, and I'm just beyond myself with it. But I have solace in the fact that I'm just not dealing with them. I see the writing on the wall. I'm out. On that note, what's going on in the Democratic Party? Why is this happening? There's multiple free thinkers, but you have 2 factions right now that are really dominant. You have the old guard Democrats, the Joe Bidens, the Hillary Clintons, the old thinkers who believe in unions and really want this stuff to happen. And then you have the new school progressives, which really merge with the social justice warriors, with the people who are, out in the streets, not all of them, but a lot of them, where it's never enough. They want more and more and more. They don't want equality. They don't want people to have affirmative action. They want to disband the police. And it's a lot of white liberals as well. It's multiracial, but it's like, what the heck are they doing? And everybody caves to the mob, every company, every politician. They don't want it. On the right wing, you can take a stand. They might call you racist or anti-Semitic or whatever, but whatever. People are going to say what they're going to say, and they're going to lie about you, so who cares? But on the left wing, you can't say anything. You could put a feminist and an LGBT activist in a room. They're going to argue with 5 hours. Call me he, call me her. I don't have a gender. I need a gender because without a gender, I don't have an identity. Well, my identity is not having an identity. No, but I'm a feminist, so if I'm not a girl, then I don't have anything to do. Well, if I am a girl, then you're being mean. Guys, they're so ridiculous. Get as far away from the cities that they control as possible. And that fringe group is becoming the mainstream. They're all bending the knee to it. They all will do it, and they'll never stop. And they're just going to keep declining, and declining. Because if you're a common sense liberal like Joe Rogan likes this country, but he's also a socialist. So what do they call Joe Rogan? Far right Joe Rogan. He's far left. He's just not a total moron, and he's not dumb, and he's not weak. So he's far left with somewhat of a brain, and they call him far right, guys. Elon Musk is as far left as you could be when it comes to environmentalism and inventions, but he's a useful liberal. He doesn't just talk. He doesn't just march in the streets. He invents things and creates companies, so naturally they hate him. So they don't even want to be in these areas. There's no winning for these people, guys. It's not, I'm not trying to scare people, but I don't see this going well at all. Either they're going to lose an election eventually and someone else is going to get into power, or they're going to slowly deteriorate their city into a war zone. And I hate to say that it's an idea. Like normally people can say anomaly, that's a conspiracy theory, that won't happen. Guys, it's happening right now. Turn on Twitter or the news and look at New York City. It's literally happening now. In most major cities, it's already happened all week. And the places in the country that shut it down is where the police and the conservatives aren't total PUSS, you know what I'm talking about. That's the only place they shut it down, guys, because it's basic common sense. It's basic human, nature. It's basic logic. It's so basic, I literally don't know what's parody anymore. I'm reading a New York health official, and he says that, if COVID-19 spikes, blame racism. White supremacy is a national health order, so it's okay to get COVID-19 because white supremacy is a worse health order. But somehow locking, inner city people in their house for 3 months and not giving them access to work and jobs is not a health thing. Guys, they're literally psychotic. They're either completely possessed by a devil and don't know what they're doing, or they're dishonest, or they're fake, or they're scared, or they're not. I don't know what it is. It's one of 30 things. Maybe they're nice people trying to do the right thing, but at a certain point, you just got to leave these people alone. God bless you. I love you. Have a good day. But I'm out. I'm going somewhere with, protection, security, a nice area if I could get to, and I don't want to go to your city ever again. I'll go when I have to go, but to be honest, I'm good for just chilling somewhere for a year and watching all the degeneracy completely crumble on Twitter. And I don't want that to happen. I love LA. I love New York City. New York City is amazing. But what do you do when the police, when the guy who runs the city, his daughter's getting arrested at an anti-police rally and he won't send the National Guard because he secretly agrees with all the destruction to his city, with all of the looting, with all of the robbing, with all of the murder, with all of the, break-ins, and not only just businesses, but also apartment complexes. The mayor agrees with it, guys. It's Gotham City. It's Mr. Evil. I don't know. Unless you have to stay or you want to stay, I hate to be an alarmist, but I just don't see how this could possibly get better until people rise up. Police are going to have to rise up. I mean, what else do you really do at this point? And in the Democratic Party, it's like a lose-lose situation. You have your old guard Democrats, and they don't even believe in what they used to believe in. Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, they're nothing like they used to be, not even remotely close, guys. They'll do anything to lie about Trump. They'll do anything to please the social justice mob. They'll do anything for power and control. They believed in border security 2 years ago. Now they don't. They used to be big on police and unions. Now they're not. Because it doesn't, these people, so it's like these people who have no integrity, no spine, no agenda. The only agenda is anti-Trump, anti-conservative, gaining power. And then you have the progressives. And the progressives and the socialists and the communists and the Black Lives Matter and these, really sensitive kids who got indoctrinated by liberal culture. They have an agenda. They don't really have a great vision, but they have an agenda. They know what they want, kind of, don't know what they want. They have something, but it's not right. It's like the dumbest, worst thing to do. So it's like disband the police, disband ICE, disband this, disband that, destroy that, stop this, stop that. Guys, they're looking for anarcho/communism/ they don't know. It's like they're blocking the street. They're like, I care about people. Do you care about nurses, doctors, families, workers? Millions of people who need it, the people dying due to the result of you. You're not just protesting, guys. I've been to protests. You can't block the street without a permit. If you block the street in 3 parts of the city, you're now a mob. Even if you're peacefully marching, you're blocking off the entire city. You got to wait in 2 hours of traffic. Some people are running at cars. Some people are staying past curfew. to get arrested, to look cool on Instagram or something. You're not peaceful. Even the peaceful protesters are, just society bashers, and they're using you for destabilization. I got in it in my last video, but overall, this ideology is just sprinting towards hell. They're just running so far down. This is how naive I even am. I saw this all coming 2 years ago, but I didn't think it would happen this fast. I thought it would take 10 years. I was like, these people are going to screw up society. It's going to take them 10 years, 20 years, maybe 5 years. They did it in less than a year. And at this rate, it's only going to get worse. I can't imagine what happens if you disband the police. Guys, I don't sugarcoat anything. Police can be corrupt. There's good police, there's bad police. The police sometimes have too much, authority and it's real. However, guys, there's also crime in every community. And if you look at the statistics, there's certain communities that are committing a majority of murders per their capita, or robberies and felonies and interracial crime. If you look at the statistics, they're not what Black Lives Matter say. I don't sit here and complain about it every single day. I almost talk about it never. But if your idea of a utopia is lie about this, the 1%, make excuses for this, do the opposite of what's happening and scream at everybody who disagrees with you and call Joe Rogan and Elon Musk racist, disband the police, defund them after they just got ran over in your store. Guys, if anything, and I'm not one to overfund them, but if that happens to my community and they can't stop it, it's like, get more of them. I don't want to live in a war zone. I'm not a huge number one, like Blue Lives Matter type person, but at the same time, I don't want to live in Syria or Libya, and that's what they're turning this into, probably purposely. Guys, they do this every time their person isn't in power. If they don't like Gaddafi or Bashar al-Assad, they turn it into a war zone. They turn protests into riots. They use people. They a psyop, psychological operation on people on multiple levels, infiltrate, destroy, and then they just leave it, guys. It never works. I mean, sometimes they install they don't like Trump, and they're trying to do this here. So you could think I'm crazy. You could think, a liberal city is going to turn into this fantastic utopia, but it's all people who don't live in these cities. They're like, crime doesn't exist on the south side of Chicago. Listen, there's a bunch of amazing areas of Chicago, but the south side of Chicago is basically a war zone. If you look up murder statistics on the south side of Chicago, guys, there's a reason they call it Chirac. You listen to rappers, they say Chirac, I'm from Chirac. They call it that because it's Chicago and it's kind of like Iraq. Even the rappers know it. Nobody debates that, like literally in hip hop culture, it's obvious. But liberals don't see it that way. They put their blinders up and they say, the real problem in Chicago is the white conservatives. If we got rid of them and the police, it would just be great. We'll just funnel money to these. Because you could give $1 trillion. It's not going to fix the problem. It's a mindset problem. It's a cultural problem. There is ways to do it, but liberals are not smart or strong enough to do it. For example, I could fix homelessness in LA. It's not that hard to do, but you need to be strong and you need to be smart. How do you fix homelessness in LA? Build mental facilities, check. Build housing facilities, more of it, check. Build drug facilities, check. That's all you need. As unlimited drug facilities, mental health facilities, housing facilities for everybody to get into. Then you send people. It doesn't have to be the police. It can be, we have unlimited government money. We can make a force that's half police, half like Good Samaritan, okay? So you go up to them. You're ready for anything. You're ready for combat, but you're being friendly. You're not being rude. You go up to every homeless person in the city and say, hey, we have a new policy. God bless you. You can't stay here. You can't sleep here. You can't trash the streets. You can't do heroin here. You can't run prostitution rings. You can't drool and, throw trash in the street. You have to get off the street because there's white, black, Hispanic, Asian, mostly in the areas that I've been in, Hispanic. And in many areas, whatever. It doesn't matter the race. But you get what I'm saying? They care about minorities so much. No, they don't. Okay, you can't be in, you got to get, you need drug help? You're on drugs? We're not going to arrest you. We'll send you to a drug facility. You have mental problems? We'll send you to a mental facility. You want a house? You need a house. But you can't stay here. Oh, but and then the liberals say, oh, but what happens if they don't want to leave? Oh, what are you going to do? Kick them out? Yes, absolutely. It's like if you're in my house and I give you every option. I feed you dinner, I give you dessert, I give you alcohol, I give you coffee, and then I say, hey, buddy, I got to go to bed. And you say, I don't want to leave. What are you going to kick me out? Yes, with force, quickly. So you get what they're so pathetic. It's so pathetic. So pathetic. What are you going to kick the guy out? Yes, after you give them every option. Drug facility, mental facility, housing, you got it all. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, entree, appetizer, whatever you want, but you can't stay here. And if you don't stay here, gotta leave town or you're eventually gonna get arrested for. The streets would be clean immediately, guys, and you would start to realize what the homeless problem is. It's a mental health and a drug problem, but it's also a cultural problem. If you allow it, it will happen. If you take away the police, people will commit more crimes. If you don't enforce anything, they're going to do it. If you make it so it's a misdemeanor to steal under $1,000 worth of stuff, you're going to have people breaking into supermarkets like they are and stealing $900 worth of stuff or stealing a cheap car. It's happening all over San Francisco because they passed a law to allow it. It's so simple, guys. So you get what I'm saying? Most of the people on the street, they're there just because it's allowed. They got to that place. Some people I know, you could go to your aunt's house. They don't want to stop doing drugs, and it's available. It's a whole culture. They've created a street culture, done nothing about it, virtue signal at the award shows, and then just let everybody, not them, they live in the hills. They don't care about this stuff. Black Lives Matter because they don't want to live in Compton and Watts. They're going to live in Beverly Hills or, the Hollywood Hills or West Hollywood Hills. They're going to, they don't want to live. They're not going to live there. They're going to tweet from their, high riser, which is, it's just so pathetic. So the point I'm trying to get to is, there's a way to fix the south side of Chicago. There's a way to fix what they call communities of color. I would just say Black and Hispanic neighborhoods, call it like you see it. There's a way to fix them, but it's going to take 1, money, 2, attention, 3, strength, and 4, common sense. They have none of it. Money, they waste it. Common sense, non-existent. Strength, total weakness. They don't have 0 out of 4. So they go to these neighborhoods. Yeah, you could throw money. Are you strong? Do you think I could send the biggest liberal on the planet to the south side of Chicago with $1 trillion and they wouldn't be able to fix it because they don't understand the problem. They don't understand the root of it, and they don't understand the cultural mindset part of it. That's, you can't put a value on. There's a way to fix it. But hey guys, I'm going to build, then they'll destroy it, or they won't go to it, or it's going to take more than that, okay? So there's a way to do it. They don't get it, guys, and they're never going to get it because they don't try to get it. They throw you to the side if you don't agree, or they just pander until it hits their house. But here's the crazy part, and I always knew this. It's with conditioning, with brainwashing, and I really first understood this. I listened to Yuri Bezmenov. If you've never heard it, it's a great hour to spend. Listen to Yuri Bezmenov. He has an interview where he talks about psychological manipulation. He's a KGB defector. He used to work for Russia. And he said, we don't really spy as much as you think we do. We do a little bit. He said, but mostly we do psychological operations. We manipulate the own minds. If you do that in America, you can destroy the own country from within. So the way that they did that is they brainwashed people, guys. And I've been talking about it for 10 years through my music, through media, through television. It's 5 or 6 corporations, all with the same agenda. Name 5 companies that didn't post Black Lives Matter stuff. Name 5. I bet you can't even name 3 because they almost don't exist because they're all doing the same exact thing politically and socially, guys. It's all brainwashing. But what Yuri said, which stuck with me, is when you brainwash somebody so thoroughly, they will never understand the truth. He said they won't understand until a boot is on their neck, and then they're going to understand. But even then, they still might not understand. And that's a sad reality. Not everybody. Some people will wake up. Some people will get pushed to the brim. But some people, guys, what's happening right now in liberal cities? What's happening in LA? What's happening in New York? They're letting people overrun their city. They're not strong enough to say, no, you can't go here. You can't march down this street right now. You got to go home. Why do I have to go home, Mommy? Why do I have to go home, Daddy? Because Billy, you and your friends or whoever you were with or somebody that somebody was with broke all the businesses, Billy. So you got to sit the F down tonight, okay? And you can come out tomorrow. Go home. There's a reason for the curfew. It's not because, well, why didn't they do it to the Trump supporters? Because nobody burned and looted and destroyed a city. That's why they didn't care. And they did it one day, not 7 days a week. It's like, that's the stupid talking point. They have, why didn't they do it to the Trump supporters when they did the Because they don't destroy. And anytime something happened, it was one day, not 7 days of destruction. So ridiculous. So the point I'm getting to is, even as they're destroying their own cities, before COVID-19, they were destroying their own cities. Business-wise, the economy's still doing good because you have Amazon, Apple, Google. They're going to be most of the economy, and it's going to turn into that. They're going to dominate, and everybody else is going to be little peons. But also, then COVID hit, and they're self-sabotaging, and then you have these riots where literally their cities are quite literally getting burnt to the ground, and they still don't get it, guys. That's why I'm officially saying, do what you want to do. I'm only one person. I'm about to talk to you. But me, myself, living somewhere thinking I was already on my way out a year ago, but I was like thinking I could get 6 more months. Let me do a few more podcasts. I'm out, guys. There's no way I'm staying there. They're not ever going to realize. They're going to push it further and further and further. And even when it gets 20 times worse, they're going to sit around and blame you. Even if you're not there, they'll still blame what you did 20 years ago. They're still going to blame Trump, guys. They're still going to blame. Get away from them, let them, and then they're just going to get, they'll never get it. I have hope in good people, but at a certain point, the leadership, I don't know what they're doing. And the craziest part about all this, and then I'm going to get to comments, listen, I call out Republicans. I call out Trump. I call out Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, the Republican Party. I'm saying they're too weak on COVID-19. They're not doing enough. They never were. I said it for 3 months, and everybody cried at me, well, he'll do it soon. No, he won't. And this is what it led to. So I'm somewhat justified. But anyway, forgot what I was saying. With the Democratic Party, where was I? Hold on. I totally lost my train of thought. I got to scroll up. Someone said, you're providing a platform. You could do that anywhere? Yeah, for sure. I don't care about podcasts anyway. But in general, I got it. So if you look at COVID-19, okay, even if you're a Democrat, even if you're a liberal, you love Bernie Sanders, you don't care about politics, you love your friends, of different races, you're such a nice person. Hey, look, I got arrested. Look how much I love black people. Congratulations, Jimmy, you got arrested. You're the nicest guy. You love black people. You're invited to the barbecue this year. Make sure you tell them you got arrested at the Black Lives Matter protest. I'm sure they're really going to like you. It's like, it's so lame. It's like, can't you hang out with black people and Hispanic people without just making it all about you and how nice you are? Oh my God, I'm so glad to be here drinking Coronas with you. Just drink a Corona, listen to the music. They all got the same ba, ba, ba. If anybody's over 40 and Hispanic, they got that same vibe. All the OG, Mexican songs have that same beat. Can't you just shut up and have fun at the barbecue? You got, oh my God, I listened to Don Lemon, I'm sorry. And then everyone's looking at you like, yo, this person's so racist. Anyway, objectively, jokes aside, you look at COVID-19, where was all the death? New York City, who's the mayor? Bill de Blasio, Democrat. What's his name? Cuomo, the brother of the CNN deep state PSYOP guy. What's his name? Andrew Cuomo, governor, Democrat. Where else was there the most deaths besides that? New Jersey, who's the governor? Democrat, Murphy. That's accountable for most of the death, or a big portion of it, in New York and New Jersey. Both Democrats. Florida opened, doing fine. Georgia opened, doing fine. Democrat cities won't open, destroying their economy, hurting people more, not letting them do that, and still have more deaths than Republican places. Okay, fine. Let's go to George Floyd. God rest his soul. Who's in charge? Democrat mayor, Amy Klobuchar, Democrat. Keith Ellison, Attorney General, Democrat, who just so happens to hold an Antifa book in a thing. Very interesting. It's all Democrats. Who charged them? 2 weeks later, everybody wanted the charges. It's not a Republican. It's a Democrat who runs it. Which cities are getting burnt down, guys? New York, Democrat. LA, Democrat. All Democrat cities across the country. There's no Republicans involved in coronavirus as far as the biggest tragedies, where the George Floyd situation happened, why it happened, and who let it happen by not firing him with all his charges. It's all Democrats. Every city that's burning is all Democrats, guys. And when you talk about racism and you talk about all this stuff, if you really go back in history, the first black senator was in 1870. Don't let them tell you in the Michael Jordan documentary, don't let them lie to you in school and talk about Barack Obama. Republicans were working with black people in the 1800s, guys. The first black senator, I've already memorized it because I've done this so many times. 1870, first black Republican. Do you know when the first black Democrat was? 1993. Guys, it took them 120 years to work with black people. Do you know what they were doing in the early 1900s to Republicans and black people who worked with them or were leading them in many cases? They were the party of the KKK to pressure the Republican Party because they were working with black people, and they used that to pressure people into trying to get votes and intimidation tactics. There's no way they say, oh my God, Trump's KKK, he's KKK. Guys, the KKK was Democrats. Don't you get it? All the black people were working with the Republican Party. There were no black senators until 1993. Guys, every racist policy from Abe Lincoln to Jim Crow was all Democrats. The parties flipped. When Texas voted blue was when Texas was the most racist. Now that Texas isn't as racist, it's red. So even if the parties flip, nothing they say makes sense. It's all them. Republicans are bad too. They're co-opted now, absolutely. There's infiltration and terrible people all over the place. They're not the be-all, end-all. A bunch of sneaks. Mitt Romney, 90% of the Republican Party are sneaks at this point. They might as well be. But the point I'm getting to is nothing they say makes sense. Nothing. Everything that's happening from COVID, it's all happening in Democrat areas, guys, because who controls the media? Don't say the race of who controls the media, because then they'll call you anti-Semitic. Meanwhile, this is what really ticks me off. People who watch me, they know it's love. I got Israelis. It's all love. God bless my Israeli brothers and sisters. My Jewish American or Jewish anywhere in the world. God bless you. It's all love. You know what I'm saying? Christian, Muslim, it's all love with me. However, if I were to call out Jewish supremacy, call out Epstein, Weinstein, Donald Sterling, aka Donald Tonkowitz, he changed his name. If I were to say that's Jewish supremacy, I'd get banned on Facebook tomorrow and they'd say Anomaly's an anti-Semite. But Ben and Jerry say we need to destroy white supremacy. We are liberal and we will. They're both Jewish. So when it's convenient, they say, no, I'm not white. I'm Jewish. That's anti-Semitic. You can't group me in. And then they blame everything on white Europeans all the time and say it's white supremacy. What's white supremacy, bro? It's a Democrat area with a black attorney general with a guy who you can't even say he killed him for a racial reason. The cop is a scumbag. However, do you have any evidence or proof that it was a racial reason? Every time a black person kills a white person, it's racism. Every time interracial things happen, it's not always because of racism. Sometimes people are just trying to steal something, or there's bad people. So that's not how you classify deaths anyway in this country. You have to, if they said there was a situation 2 weeks ago where the guy literally said, I don't like this race, then it's a racial thing. So the deception is just so obvious. But in general, besides that aspect of it with the media, it's all Democrat. Who do the celebrities bow to? It's all Democrat. Colin Kaepernick says some edgy stuff. Who gives them a deal? Nike. Guys, do you think Nike was giving Malcolm X deals to do his activism? It's all such a joke, guys. It's all such a joke. And they claim that they have the moral high ground when they're supporting the people who've been racist for 300 years. And the biggest supremacists on the planet are all funding and operating their movement because they know it has nothing to do with justice, nothing to do with truth, nothing to do with equality, and everything to do with destabilization, control, and furthering the mindset into degeneracy, which is going to keep people down for the next 200, 300 years. And I'm not talking about a specific race. I'm talking about even the white community or the white Americans. They've filled their heads with so much degeneracy and weakness, they've destroyed even that community for the next 50, 60 years. I'm sorry. Raise your kids right, guys, because the television and the politicians are not going to raise them right whatsoever, and neither is the music industry. Maybe they're lucky and they listen to J. Cole, but otherwise, there's a lot of losers out there. So overall, we'll see what happens. Let me know your thoughts. Someone said, I love fish food. Yeah, Ben & Jerry's is awesome. They have great ice cream. I don't think it's very fair that to wealthy Jewish people when a lot of stuff in America, when it comes to banking and media, is owned by Jewish people. They have more than enough power in America. They're allowed to blame an entire race of people, and that's not racist. They changed the definition to say that racism is when a group with power hits a group who has less power. Guys, look at the NBA owners, the NFL owners, the media owners, and a lot of successful people. There's no shortage of Jewish successful people, and that's awesome. I'm not trying to take anything away, but this idea that they could call everybody white supremacists all the time, when behind closed doors they don't even consider themselves white a lot of times, and they consider themselves a separate ethnic group that has extra protections, it's all such a deception. And that's what's going on with a lot of the media too. So in general, someone said no accountability. That's the biggest thing in general. Regardless of if you're white, black, Jewish, Hispanic, at a certain point, we all have to have accountability. The law is the law. The truth is the truth. The lie is the lie. It doesn't matter who you are. You don't have that right now. You have affirmative action. People suing because of racism. You sue because you're LGBT. No, I can't possibly be bad at my job because I'm gay. It's like, no, you just suck, Becky. You're fired from Huffington Post. Oh, I'm going to sue because I'm LGBT. No, it's the opposite. They got it all twisted. They hired you because you're LGBT. They hired you for that reason, and they fired you because they suck and you're not profitable, and now they do a lawsuit. Guys, it's all backwards. People need accountability, and that's what's happening, unfortunately, in certain areas of the country, but it's still getting watered down. But in cities, they're backwards ideology. There is no accountability, no self-awareness, no truth. It's all a downward spiral. Why? At this point, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but at this point, I'm calling out, as a joke, just going to cover myself, to all black liberal leaders. To all black liberal leaders, you guys are slacking. You could put white liberals on a leash at this point. What are you waiting for? Just say, bow down, white liberal, give me your house, go on a leash, let me walk you like a dog. They let you walk them through the streets, guys. These people are so pathetic. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Do what you want. You could have the company. You could have the job. Just walk them around and make, like, you might as well, because at this point, they're just totally bending the knee. They might as well just roll on the floor. Like, it's pathetic. It's like, it's so backwards. It's so goofy. So what are you waiting for? Just take full advantage. I mean, you could probably, I'm not trying to be mean, you could probably enslave white liberals. You could say, you know what, you're the slave now, and they'd probably agree with it. I don't understand what's taking so long. That's probably going to happen in like 2 or 3 years. And the only people that are going to say, doesn't matter your ethnicity, you could be black, white, Hispanic, but we want to live in a community that's safe and peaceful and nice and profitable and fun for everybody. And trust me, there's more than enough to go around. A lot of immigrants that come from South America, Mexico, India, the Middle East, Africa, Asia, they don't like this crap. They're voting for Trump. The best people. I'm not trying to say there's not good liberals and there's terrible conservatives and there's great liberals. However, the strongest, most secure people in this country are not buying into this crap. And I promise you, if push comes to shove and you guys take over the cities and say, we're going to do it our way, and other people go to nicer areas and say, we're going to do it our way, you could find out what happens very quickly, and it's going to be fine, and we're going to have a beautiful life because people of all ethnicities can live in a place that's not so pathetic and weak and bowing down to the lowest common denominator in society and shutting down and dragging everybody else down to the lowest common denominator. I'm sick to my stomach, guys. Not really, I feel fine, but I'm sick to my stomach how many people I know are trying to justify the burnings of neighborhoods. Are you insane? You realize it doesn't even matter because you obviously shouldn't burn down a white neighborhood, but you're burning down black and Hispanic neighborhoods, you idiots. I think it's fine because, property can heal. What does that mean? There's 2,200 black people who kill other black people every year. That's almost 7 a day. Am I allowed to burn everything every time something happens because that's property and not a life? Like, can I cry every time like a white person does something I don't like? There's, thousands of white crimes a year. Am I allowed to just burn? Well, it's properties. No, that's not how you operate. That's ridiculous. It's like, let's burn down a Hispanic neighborhood because I love people so much. It's sickening. It's sickening to see people justifying this. And at this point, I just want to leave them alone. I want to say, yeah, for sure. No, you're right. Yeah, no, that's going to work. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, I'm going to take off, but you go ahead. Yeah, that's a good idea. No, yeah, burn down the city. Yeah, for sure. Power to the people. Let's that's fine. I mean, that's a great idea. Yeah, that's really gonna do something. Yeah, look at them dancing in the street doing down, down, do. They're all. I'm sure this is really about the guy who died and not just about the liberals and progressives throwing another fit. They're going to destroy themselves. They're going to destroy every institution. They're going to drag down New York Times and Washington Post even further than it's already been dragged, and it's a mess. Get away while you can. That's what I think. Let me know what you think. I'm gonna read some comments. Someone messaged me and said, eat a duck. I'm guessing he meant another word, but I get that. Someone said, it is a life. I just bought a home. My family would be devastated by that. Guys, they're burning down optometrists, mom and pop shops, immigrant-owned businesses. These people are disgusting degenerates, and then they're justifying it. Well, you know, they're mad. So go live in the streets then, dude. Don't go live in the nice neighborhood until they come to your neighborhood and go live in the streets. Come on, tough guy. They only care because they live so far away. But their problems are going to come to their neighborhood next, guys. It's so obvious. But the only places that are going to be safe is places with the Second Amendment or places with a police force that isn't complete idiots. It's so easy. And I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen successfully. Police stand up. The people of the town stand up. The degenerates go home back to their own places or another weak area of the city that'll let them do that stuff. It's nuts. Yeah, and there's a good point that I saw someone make on Twitter. Someone asked me about Candace Owens' speech. Guys, they hate. This is the part that really ticks me off, and then I'm going to read your comments. What really ticks me off is the hypocrisy. You see me, I keep it real. That's why I got fans in Africa, South America, everywhere, every ethnicity, good people of all kinds, Muslims, Christian, Jews, people who get it, people who don't. But I don't ever sit here and claim that I am a community. I'm standing up for black. I'm standing up for Hispanic. I'm standing up for white. I'm standing up for Christians. I'm standing up for this. You don't hear me say that because it's not true. I am not the face of any community. I'm not the voice of any community. What I am is a voice for good people all over the world who know what's real and knows what's fake. But they're so disingenuous, guys. They say, Black Lives Matter. They ignore 99.9% of black lives and viciously hate black people who disagree with them. You're an African mom who's not dumb. They hate you. You're Ben Carson, the first neurosurgeon to successfully, separate conjoined twins. Genius. They hate Ben Carson. Candace Owens, who could blow any of these, morons that they have out the water. They hate Candace Owens. They hate Kanye West. They hate Lil Wayne. So this fact that Black Lives Matter, but they don't care about 99% of lives, and they viciously hate it. Just be honest. You don't care about all black, Hispanic, and Asians, or whatever you claim, LGBT. You like people who agree with you. And that's fine if you just admit that. I don't say I'm standing up for a community because, to be honest, I don't care. Like 50% of white people probably don't agree with me. And that's fine, but I don't say I'm agreeing with the people. It's like, no, I'm saying what I'm saying, and then we can have a conversation. They use these people as a shield to push their political agenda and their social agenda, which is totally backwards. It's sick. That's why when they go to the barbecue, they don't have anything authentic to say. They don't look at you like a person. If I'm at one of my friends played in the NBA, I'm at an event, I'm the only white person there. Nobody says anything about it. It doesn't come up. It doesn't matter because everyone's just having a good time. I had a little debate with somebody and stuff, just happened naturally. But these people go places and just act so unnatural because they don't look at you like a human being. When I look into your eyes or when I meet you, I'm looking at your soul. I'm looking at you as a human. They think you're lesser than them. They think they have to cater to you all the time because they put that you below them. You're this race, you're below me. You're a woman, you're below me. It's the most racist and sexist thing you could do. They don't think you're an individual. And God forbid, you're like that African woman I showed you yesterday, and you're strong. A lot of people from Nigeria, they don't play these games, guys. They're smart and strong. They come here, they don't want to hear all this nonsense with liberal culture in America. And then if you dare say you're not oppressed, they try to throw you back down into oppression. No, you are oppressed. Guys, nothing has changed with these people since the 1800s and 1900s. Yes, people are more free. Yes, life is better for everybody, but their mindset of treating people like lesser human beings has not changed. But now they do the reversal and just overcompensate for hundreds of years of racism, and they overcompensate for their own inability to be accurate or honest or strong or, realistic. It's like, no, like, I'm not afraid to say anything because I know I'm not racist. If I was racist, maybe I'd be afraid to speak like this because I might say something wrong. I speak from the heart and the soul, and I have no problems with it because I know I'm not racist, and I know I care about people, and there are differences, and there is stuff going on, and we need to solve it. But you don't solve it with intersectionality. We're all the same. Well, do you know that a lot of black people are vitamin D deficient because due to their skin color and their skin tone and their pigment, they can take more vitamin D. And somebody that's Irish can't go in the sun for an hour or they're going to burn themselves. It's little differences like that. Intersectionality destroys that. So when you have a lot of people dying in New York City due to COVID-19 and other stuff, maybe it has something to do with vitamin D. Maybe it doesn't, but when you treat everybody like you guys, you black people just sit in your houses, and we're helping you. You stay in your houses, don't go to the job, don't go outside. Guys, unless you have a yard, which is a privilege, you don't have the privilege of getting sunlight. So if you don't let people outside and you don't let people do things, they don't have the resources to do it. You're killing them. And I told people this 2 months ago. I said, you're killing the inner cities. You're killing poor and middle class people. You're going to hurt more people than you ever helped with this shutdown. And none of them listen because they don't care, because they don't have a mind of their own. They listen to whatever the television says or the media says or social media celebrities say. And that's all they know. They say, don't march in the streets because it hurts you with COVID. And now they say you have to march in the streets because if you don't march in the streets, you're racist. Guys, these people are either brainwashed, ignorant, evil, or dumb. And I'm not here to tell you which one's which, but get it together, folks, because this is the revolution. This is the cultural and mental revolution that we're working with right here. All right, I'm going to answer some questions. Someone said, I told some of my black friends to take D3. I don't know what that is. I guess it's some sort of nutrient and vitamin. But that's the type of stuff we're on here, guys. God bless you, Frank. That's the type of stuff we're on. We don't talk about dumb stuff. We talk about nutrients, food, get our people, and that's something you really want to help the black community and the white community and the Hispanic community. Health. Guys, heart disease and fitness and American diets are killing more people than violence is. I know it's not as edgy because you don't have a video of it, but we need to get our people health and wealth and knowledge and wisdom and mindset to lift themselves out of a situation. That's the type of stuff we talk about here. Someone said they announced in LA they're defunding the police. Yeah, I mentioned it earlier. Thank you, Toy, and I appreciate it. God bless you. Thank you, Ilya. We got the realest audience, guys. They can't handle it. All right, let me see. Can we discuss the issue of civil war? My recollection of the North fought the South. I mean, it's a soft one now. At the end of the day, like I said, there's so many unique people, there's so many unique people, so I don't want to put it into two sides, but there's literally a side, and you can see my audience, guys. My audience is not, I'm sure I have a Democrat, my audience is a lot of black people, a lot of Hispanic people, a lot of everything. We got everything here. Look at the comments. It's going to be people of all races, all ethnicities, and all religions who don't want to live a life of hell. They don't want to live a life of degeneracy. They want to live a decent life, okay? And the other side is going to be the social justice mob that can't get their crap together. So if it does get to that point, that's going to be the two sides, guys. And the police are not going to be on their side. And the military is not going to be on their side. And the strong people with the Second Amendment, most of them, are not going to be on their side. So it's not, I don't think it's going to get to that point. But we're witnessing a soft one right now where at a certain point, what do they think they're doing? I have no idea. I just want to leave them alone or at least try to get away if I can. But if not, I don't know exactly what's going to happen. But it's like, I wouldn't mind, to be quite honest, if we could figure something out. I don't want a war, but it's like, I would love to do a social experiment. You guys try your life over here. We'll try ours. Guys, it would be really great. We'd have all the best people. We'd have all the best black, white, Hispanic, Muslim, Christian. It would be a utopia. People who work, we'd have a little bit of nonsense, I'm sure, but people who just actually don't buy into all this stuff. And they would have all the degenerates, all the people who always they're going to eat each other alive. Guys, you can't please these people. Post a black square. Demi Lovato, she's not even black. She's like, don't post a black square. You're blocking black voices. Don't do this. They're never happy because they don't know what they're talking about ever. It's all delusion, guys. I'm like, I love everybody, but at a certain point, it's like, what are you going to do? Either they're going to destroy your and their neighborhood, or they're going to destroy their neighborhood and, you're going to be somewhere else. I don't know. At this point, I'm just like, it's nutty. I mean, it happened faster than I thought. Carolyn said it's intentional. Yeah, and people think, I put up a lot of Instagram stuff today on Dream Rares, my Instagram, but people think like it's crazy. The dumbest thing, conspiracy theory. Guys, look at history. World War I, World War II, the foundation of America. Everything's a conspiracy. It's a bunch of people working together to either do good things and fight people who are doing evil things, and it's all perception. All of history is a conspiracy. There's on record in the JFK files, guys, that they wanted to kill Castro, stage bombings in Florida, and also either sink a boatload of Cubans, either simulate it and pretend that it happened, or literally kill a boatload of Cubans. It's declassified. So if you think they can't kill one person purposely, guys, they wanted to sink a boatload of Cubans just to frame Castro. This is real. This is obvious. So this idea that, like you said, oh, they wouldn't do that. It's a theory. It's like, no, they do this in every country. We did it last time. Syria, Libya, Ukraine. Anytime they don't have their puppet, Venezuela. Why do you think Nancy Pelosi, Donald Trump, Chuck Schumer, the only thing they agree on is regime change in Venezuela? Guys, it has nothing to do with saving Venezuela. It has everything to do with the United States' interests. It's not for socialism. They don't care about who's socialist or who's not. Who cares? It's not our country, whatever. They want their puppet in power, and they don't like Maduro for whatever reason. But I know he's not a good leader, but I highly doubt the U.S. really cares about that aspect of it. But I could be wrong. Someone said, did you hear the Hillary appeals? I heard rumors of it, but I couldn't find anything of it. I saw the Rosenstein ones yesterday and stuff. Trump needs to hurry up, though, because the longer he waits, the more these people are just going to wig out. So I know maybe he has to take his time, but it's like, dude, the more he waits, the more they just bug out. And he's always hanging, like, he's like, oh, AG Barr is going to say this. It's like, bro, for God's sake, just bring the sauce one of these days, because at a certain point, waiting is tough, but it's all good. I get it. He's in a tough position. God bless the guy. Let me see. Michael said, appreciate you. Thank you. Someone said, impeachment, hoax, coronavirus, virus, what's next? Dude, I'll tell you what, though. It's crazy, too. If you go to Google Analytics and you could search Black Lives Matter and see when it was searched, no one's talking about it. 2016, boom. No one's talking about it. 2020, boom. They only care about Black lives on election season. You could see the analytics, and it's just two huge curves. It's so obvious. What they're going to do with this is, one, in liberal cities where they have power, they're going to try to extend COVID-19 out for a really long time, and then they're going to keep everybody at home, and then they're going to give everyone mail-in ballots, and all these people they just mobilized in the street, they're going to make sure that they're sitting at home to vote, because 90% of these people don't vote, guys. It's not easy to vote, and only people who are really passionate about it vote. If you can get all the people who don't vote because they don't know what they're talking about and they're not that passionate about it to vote, that could be a 1 million or 2 million vote swing. That's what they're hoping for, I believe, but who knows? Someone said contact tracing. It's unnecessary, and this is my beef with the Republican Party. The Republican Party should be saying no contact tracing. What are we doing this for? But if you look up, Apple is working with 3 Republican states, North Dakota, I believe, or South Dakota, I believe Alabama and South Carolina or North Carolina, they're all working with Apple on contact tracing. So that's the 2-party setup. It's like, obviously the left is going to destroy the city quicker, but why is the Republican Party? We don't need contact tracing for a flu-like virus that now it had 0 deaths. Guys, 0 deaths in one day in New York City. Does anything have 0 deaths? Were there 0 murders? No. Were there 0 heart attacks? No. Dude, That's nothing. We're contract tracing over a virus that didn't kill a single person one day. Guys, alcohol kills more people in New York City per day. I mean, pills slipping on floors, like there's no justification for contact tracing for this virus. But there's no Republican. Who's leading the charge against contract tracing? Thomas Massie. Thomas Massie's the only one I heard talk about it. Who doesn't like Thomas Massie? Trump. Trump called him a third-rate Republican. So this is the deception. Someone said this is the prelude. It's going to get weird. And I'm not trying to be alarmist, but I just, looking at it from a perspective, like I even said 3 years ago, I have a tweet from 2017. I said, guys, this is how they destabilize countries. And I said, they're going to do it here. They don't care about us, just like they don't care about Libya and Syria. If they'll do it to Libya, what makes you think they won't do it to you? If they test their medicine out in Africa, what makes you think they won't bring it here? They don't care. They could claim they don't care. So it's here. And I just don't see, there's got to be a big Trump move or it's going to get weird. But, pray to God. Keep your faith strong. If you don't, it's all good. I'm not going to tell you how to be, but, don't worry. Don't buy into the fear. That's not the answer. The fear is not the answer. The worrying's not the answer. Be strong in your conviction. Be strong in your stance. Just be smart and aware. You could be aware and not scared. People misconstrue that. They think I'm trying to scare people. I'm not. You could be aware, but don't be scared. Hold on, let me see. Thank you guys. I appreciate the super things or the stars. A friend said he has a phone number to call where they pay you $200 to protest. It's a possibility. I'm sure it's possible, I mean, think about how much money political parties get. Trump gets like hundreds of millions of dollars every time he runs for office. So does Hillary got $2 billion or something crazy last time she ran. It's easy to give people $200, So they could be doing that. They're definitely trying to ramp this up, some bad actors. We need to get people awakened, though. I don't care if people don't agree with my policy on unions or healthcare. That doesn't matter to me. Just don't be brainwashed. Understand. I don't get the people who just think everything's a theory. I don't know. It's just man, no, that's crazy. It's why is that crazy? Look at World War II. No matter which way you look at it, Hitler, Stalin, were those people not real? Are you questioning history? Are you saying that didn't happen? If you are, then you're questioning history. You're no better than me. But if you aren't, things happen, bro. It's who told you? Who told these people that the good things don't happen and bad things don't happen? It's it literally happened all the time. I don't get this no way. Well, I live in a apartment building, so there's no way this is what happened. I'm who told you that? Nobody, never mind. Someone said Trump is prepared. Listen, he's doing what he's got to do. I mean, I don't agree with everything, but I'd much rather him there than them, for sure. And I think a lot of people feel that way, and a lot don't. Someone said we are awakening others. I think so. And I'll tell you what, guys. Social media, they hone in on the worst of the worst, and there's a lot of stuff, but there is a silent majority. There's a lot of people waking up. There's a lot of messages I've gotten from people who are thinking. It's going to take a cultural shift in a way of so many people just hop on the bandwagon. You know what I'm saying? So you got your 10% who push with the media, with the celebrities, and there's a tipping point. And then everybody follows along on the tipping point. Most of these people are up for grabs. They're just following because they have to or they think it's right. So it's if you can push back enough, these 50-60% of sheep, they'll go the other way. They don't have any loyalty. They're just I don't want to seem like I'm racist, or I don't want to post it. I don't care. I'm just listen, I'm not going to have social justice and conscious, movements hijacked by people who haven't cared in 10 years. And now all of a sudden I'm the bad guy. It's guys, where were you the last 5 years? They came out in 2016 because there's an election. Someone said Craigslist is posting stuff. Here's the thing with Craigslist, though. One, it could be true, but also I could post on Craigslist and say, hey, I could pose. You get what I'm saying? I could post on Craigslist and say I'm hiring protesters, take a screenshot and put it on Twitter. So although it could be happening off of Craigslist, you have to understand it's really easy to fake that as well. So to me, it's not foolproof. Someone said you're a star. Minneapolis wants to disband police. I'm not trying to be alarmist, but it's like, listen, I'm not this guy who thinks police are like awesome all the time. In certain towns, depending where you're in, I don't want to see police. I've been wronged by police before. Obviously, maybe not like other people, but I always hated the police growing up. I'm not gonna lie, because I had bad experiences. I had weird things, them trying to move my car, them giving me a ticket for not even doing anything because I was driving my sister's car. Weird stuff. I've never been like a huge police. I don't want to deal with them. If I see them in the streets, hey sir, God bless you, whatever. But as far as in my personal life, driving, it's like nobody wants to see a cop when you're driving. People don't want to get arrested or get a ticket. So I'm not this like cop apologist, but at the same time, do you not understand what they do all the time? They also fight crime. They also arrest people. If you don't arrest people who do armed robbery and stuff, there's going to be a bunch of armed robbers everywhere. And if you don't arrest armed robbers, they're going to realize that they can get away with it. And that's what's happening in cities right now. They're allowed to get away with it. Justin Timberlake and Seth Rogen will bail out the protesters. So you're creating a culture of justification. That's what liberals do. They don't realize how bad that is. You tell somebody they're a victim, you turn them into a victim. You tell somebody crime's legal, they're not going to not do it. They only don't do it if they get caught and have a consequence. If they rob 5 stores and get $10,000 out of it and never go to jail, why would they stop? It's so simple. It's so crazy that this is even controversial. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And I'll have any conversation with anybody about systemic stuff, the past. I know about it. It's real. I'm down to fix it. I'm down to alter the system, but not like you're trying to alter the system. Disband the police. These people are morons. Someone said they want to live in a third world country. Apparently, I don't know. I'm trying to go somewhere where people don't think like that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But to be honest, I was already on my way out. I'm out. I'm not sticking around for any longer than I have to. Let me see. Someone said, I don't trust the police. I got beaten up by a black off-duty officer. Listen, there's good and bad police. I hear you. I've had bad experiences as well. Some people have had vice versa. There's good cops. There's bad cops. There's people looking for trouble. There's people power tripping. There's people who are abusing their power. There's people who are trying to give you a ticket for nothing when you're poor. There's some scumbags out there for sure. I like to see a cop if I'm like in a horrible situation, but if I'm driving or doing something, as long as you're, it's hit or miss. I'm not making excuses for every cop. I hear you, but it's like, do you want to disband the police? Maybe you do. I don't know. I don't want to. Someone said cutting funding for officers is absurd. What makes it even crazier is I've talked to LAPD people at events before, and I asked them a question. I asked them a few questions. I asked the one guy, I said, is most crime done with like registered guns or unregistered guns? He said most crime is done with unregistered guns on the black market. They're not hard to get. So this idea that they're going to stop, citizens from getting guns, there's already guns out there. People get most of them illegally. So that destroys the whole liberal narrative. But I also asked, about stuff, and they said, dude, they have crappy computers. Guys, the LAPD is not overfunded, it's underfunded. They're running on like computers I wouldn't even use myself, and they're going to defund them, not at a random time. They're defunding them, guys, after they just got overrun. So they got outdone, their cop cars burned, they got embarrassed, really, they got outpowered, and then they're going to suck more power and money out of them. Guys, LA is asking for the city to turn into a war zone. They're asking, the city already was screwed up, guys. You go on Hollywood Boulevard, it's disgusting. It shouldn't be that dirty. You go to Las Vegas, it's clean. It's a strip, but they treat it better. You go to the side streets or downtown LA, there's some beautiful coffee shops and beautiful restaurants and really fun bars. I love downtown LA, but there's also the worst homeless crisis in, Western civilization. I mean, it's crazy. You go with somebody from the UK. I was in the car with two guys from the UK, and they were like blown away. It's insanely horrible. And it's been going that direction. They're just going to keep going that direction. They have no plan. Someone said, don't give up on the USA. I'm not giving up on the USA. We're strong. I'm just saying certain areas are going to have to eat it and learn a hard lesson. And hopefully my brothers and sisters in those areas stay safe and secure, protect yourself. And, that's what it is. If you got to stay for work or family, or that's where you're from and you want to hold it down for your community, God bless you, and do it to the fullest. We need good people everywhere. However, I'm just telling people, what do you think is going to happen when you defund or disband the police? That's all I'm going to say. There's no possible way it's going to get better when that happens. So just be prepared for that. Similar to how, people needed to be prepared for the riots. It's like if you owned a business, you got to board your business up. I'm not trying to fearmonger, but some people didn't board their business up and they got shattered. Some people did board their business up and they ripped it down. It's crazy. Someone said, I live in Thomas Massey's district. Left California a year ago in Kentucky. I love it here. Awesome. I think there's a chance for California to turn. I think it could definitely turn the tide. But this cheating is not going to help. Derek said, how do you see the next couple of months going? I don't know. People are forgetting, because before COVID, these cities were already having problems. And then COVID hit. Outside of the George Floyd protests or riots or whatever you want to call them, outside of all that stuff, peaceful and non-peaceful, guys, COVID-19 shutdown is one of the biggest scams. I'm not even going to say scams, but biggest exchanges of wealth, biggest trillion-dollar bailout, shut people in their house, close down businesses, destroy 20 to 50% of small businesses, put people on welfare. It's one of the biggest, craziest moments in the last 100 years, no question. So that alone, before these riots and stuff, they're already screwing over the whole country, let alone cities, So that already happened. And then you add this on top of it, there's a lot of stuff we're going to have to build out of. So, I think they're trying to destabilize us and take over. So I don't know. I can't tell you. I could lie and say I know what's going to happen, but every week is like a month. Every month's like a year. It's like we're in the Matrix. We're in the movie. They've brought in all the movies, all the scripts, all the Event 201 planning. It's all here. And we'll see what happens. I believe in people. I believe in God. I believe in my country. And I'm not worried about it. I'm just acting accordingly. I feel like I'm in a movie now. I'm moving like, I'm Tom Cruise. I'm not really Tom, but that's how I'm not taking this lightly at all. However, I'm not going to be scared or be fearful or be concerned. I'm just acting accordingly. But I see it getting weird. And I was watching the news at a restaurant today, and it was indistinguishable from Event 201. If you don't know what Event 201 is, it was the World Economic Forum, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Johns Hopkins, along with other people. They simulated, no joke, in October, November, simulated a coronavirus pandemic where they had a whole fake news, like literally fake news pretending to be real news. They had a whole fake forum. It was a simulation of a coronavirus pandemic in 2019. I'm watching the news on television and I'm thinking to myself, this looks like Event 201. If I put a clip of Event 201 and the news that I was watching today, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference, guys. It's hard to think that this stuff was not scripted and planned. It's exactly what I watched in October and November. So what's going to come next? Depends which way the story goes. But overall, America has some really good things in its back. Outside of all of the stuff that the left wing says, all the oppression, I'm even going to go here. Outside of, not the right wing, because most of them are honestly really chill, but say even the far, far right. I get the demographics conversation, and a lot of it is very real, but there's so many good people in this country, so many good immigrants, so many real people. Obviously, there's a lot of degenerates as well, and I don't deny demographics and statistics, but we have so many good people here. We have the Second Amendment. We are far from unprepared for a crisis. We don't want it to happen, but we're far from unprepared. So I don't have this feeling of fear. I have no feeling of giving up. I'm fine. I would just say act accordingly, and be wise and smart about your moves these next couple of months, because it's not what it was. For instance, I'm talking to a friend and they're saying, hey, I'm going to drive into the city today. I'm going to go here. I'm going to be like, listen, you might get trapped in a protest or a riot because they're shutting the streets down. So you can't operate like it's a normal day, because it's not a normal day. Don't let it scare you, but that's all I would say, is just act accordingly and try to, I don't know. It's going to get a little weird, but we're going to need good people in good places. Me personally, I don't know exactly where to go. I mean, I know I have an idea where I want to go, and I'm probably going to go. But, it's like at a certain point, if you're born and raised somewhere, it is what it is. And at a certain point, you might be from somewhere that there's, these people in power, and you don't want to leave. It's where your family is. It's where your job is. It's where your life is, and you want to fight for what's right. So everyone has to make their own decision. I'm not here to tell people what to do, but at a certain point, you got to decide, I want to stay here, and I want to fight for what's right. I want to leave. I don't want to be here. I want to go here and try this. So, it's up to everybody, obviously, but overall, it's all what you want to do. So I said, here's my pet peeve too, brother, and I'm just going to say it. Or it's Kimberly, excuse me, I'm sorry. She said, dude, you need to be careful when pointing out the gates. Here's the thing, Kimberly. That's the fear that I'm going to be chill about it today. That's the fear that they want. They want you to be afraid. They want you to manifest bad things onto me. That's what you're doing. You're essentially putting a spell on me. I'm not saying you're literally doing it, but, manifestation-wise, you're putting a spell on me. You're saying you talking about that is dangerous. That's fear. That's control. That's you being scared and you putting that energy onto me. That doesn't help me. I'm not afraid to say it. To be honest, it's on YouTube. It's public knowledge. There's millions of people talking about Bill Gates. Go to his Instagram, okay? There's thousands upon millions of people talking about him on bigger platforms than me, on Fox News. So you don't have to be afraid to speak the truth. That's how they win, guys. That's why they get away with it, is because so many people are afraid to do it. But there is no reward, and I'm not saying you, Kimberly, but there's no reward in the end for cowards. You can be scared your whole life. Your city could still burn down. You could still be stuck at home. You could still be closed out of your business. Now more than ever should be like, I don't care anymore. I'm not saying you have to, but like at this point, it's not like life is going on and I'm just overreaching. It's like society's crumbling and I'm doing what I've been doing the last 3 years. There's no fear. And that manifestation, I want people to really understand when it comes to Hillary or Bill Gates or whoever, you saying that to somebody, you're justifying what's happening. You're scaring people and saying, anybody who does this will do this. You can't do this. That's not true. There's millions of people who speak their mind and nothing happens to. Something does happen to some people, but you playing into that is creating that. You're playing into their narrative. You're living in their world and pushing their agenda of fear, control, and power and, pressure on people. So don't, It's not just me. There's millions of people getting millions of views talking about stuff. It's okay. I'm not worried about it. It's just annoying. Like people think that's helpful. It's not helpful to me. And it's not helpful to anybody. It's not helpful to you. It's not helpful to